hip-hop experience the first time. Classic like the first rhyme I heard so ill I still remember the line. Classic like that first piece of wax I got at the bottle shop. I bought it, brought it home, dropped the needle to rock the non-stop. Classic like smooth static as the wheels go round, round. Classic like that feeling you only get from analog sound. Classic like a first crush, first kiss, to lose a virginity. Classic like victory was stepping up against my enemy. Classic like hip-hop cinema wild style. The Star Wars documentaries loaded with interviews and slick visuals. Classic like nothing but green traffic lights all the way down on a Saturday night. Classic like back in the days of black and white. Classic like that rush that I get when I step to the stage and kill the mic. Classic like continuously getting better with age. Classic like cool Herc and band body getting their fair share of respect. They should get a fraction of every professional's paycheck. Classic like clashes. Classic like concrete canvas before they vanish. This is strictly for those who understand it. Classic like clash. Classic like concrete canvas before they vanish. Classic like the name of this track. They can't handle it. Classic like clashes. Classic like concrete canvas before they vanish. This is strictly for those who understand it. Classic like clash. Classic like concrete canvas before they vanish. Classic like the name of this track. They can't handle it. Classic like Eddie Murphy, delirious plus raw comedy. Classic like gold chain. Classic like old school harmony. Classic like Adidas track pants and the matching jackets with no laces back in '83. Classic like Run DMC. Classic like the back of the bus in the summer we ride bike. Classic like a 94 source with 5 mics. Classic like it was written. Classic like Pulp Fiction. Classic like the last night of existence. Of course I'm just guessing. Classic like a session of dissing your boys a Baba Joe. Classic like ridiculous Arnold Schwarzenegger movie quote. Classic like Tribe's example of the infamous date rape. Classic like old school college radio record a mixtape. Classic like artifacts on the wrong side of the track. Classic like Ultra Mag pop a large B-side of the whack. Classic like after surpassing the hard part of just chillin'. Classic like a Samsonite briefcase filled with a million. Classic like clashes. Classic like concrete canvas before they vanish. This is strictly for those who understand it. Classic like clash. Classic like concrete canvas before they vanish. Classic like the name of this track. They can't handle it. Classic like clashes. Classic like concrete canvas before they vanish. This is strictly for those who understand it. Classic like clash. Classic like concrete canvas before they vanish. Classic like the name of this track. They can't handle it. Classic like Mike Tyson going down in the 3rd round. A little Mac the champ dancing around that it ain't been sound. Classic like a schoolyard fight with a hard left and a hard right. Classic like celebrating all night and seeing daylight. Classic like the days I had to rely on my Gemini scratch master mixer with the 8-second sample of a life was simpler. Classic like CLESSRC. Classic like a dope MC rocking on the MIC. Classic like a civil rights victory back in the 60s. Martin Luther King, Black Panthers and hippies. Classic like true history. Classic like BDP versus the Juice Crew. Back when a battle used to symbolize respect and not who's gonna shoot who. Classic like perfect time. Classic like a moment of silence. Classic like a hip-hop show that ends with no violence. Classic like loving your life when you're still living and taking for what it's worth. Classic like self-respect, there's no equivalent. Classic like clashes. Classic like concrete canvas before they vanish. This is strictly for those who understand it. Classic like clash. Classic like concrete canvas before they vanish. Classic like the name of this track. They can't handle it. Classic like clashes. Classic like concrete canvas before they vanish. This is strictly for those who understand it. Classic like clash. Classic like concrete canvas before they vanish. Classic like the name of this track. They can't handle it.